an Adelaide disability support worker, has been jailed for more than 6 years for committing one of the most serious examples of manslaughter by criminal neglect South Australia has ever seen, that NDIS client Anne-Marie Smith. Warning: this story contains details that will be distressing to some readers. Key points: Anne-Marie Smith in April 2020. Anne-Marie Smith in April 2020 she lived alone and relied on a carer for all of her needs. She lived alone and relied on a carer for all of her needs. Her support worker, Rosa Maione, has been sentenced to 6 years jail for manslaughter by criminal neglect. While Rosa Marie Maione, 70, will be eligible for parole in 5 years and 3 months, she is expected to be deported to Italy upon her release from prison, where she will be an elderly woman and alone in a foreign country. Miss Smith lived a quiet, isolated life before she became the victim of Maione's gross criminal neglect. During sentencing, Justice Anne Bampton said her was preventable. It is clear the care of Anne Smith was compromised from the time you became her sole support worker, Justice Bampton said. Whilst Ms. Smith's autonomous position has to be respected, she required the involvement of her service provider Integrity Care and health providers. You had absolutely no insight into Ms. Smith's physical condition leading up to her. Your incompetence, lack of training, lack of assertiveness, produced an environment where you failed to provide appropriate care. Every person living with a disability, every person who requires support, every parent or carer or support worker, I have no doubt shudders with fear when they hear about the utter lack of care and human dignity afforded to Miss Smith. The tragedy is that if you had acknowledged your limitations and sought professional assistance, and if you and Integrity Care had provided that support in a safe and competent manner with care, her could have been prevented. Disability care recipient Anne-Marie Smith in 2020. Miss Smith's mother was her primary carer until her some years before her daughters. Her brother had become estranged, he told the Supreme Court, after voicing his concerns about how her support workers were taking advantage of her. The Supreme Court heard Ms. Smith initially had no issues with decision-making, but her mobility declined to the point she was essentially bedridden and lived and slept in a cane chair. The 54-year-old had become totally dependent on Maione, who was paid under the National Disability Insurance Scheme to provide 6 hours care per day to Miss Smith, 7 days a week, plus an additional 2 hours for cleaning and shopping. The prosecution said that was not enough, as Miss Smith required 2 carers per day to help with her general care and routine, including washing, toileting, preparing food, feeding and dressing her. Maione could not lift Miss Smith alone, calling in a gardener to help on at least 2 occasions. In 2014 she sustained a shoulder injury, which rendered her unable to continue to care for high-needs patients. Anne-Marie Smith pictured on her 21st birthday. Maione knew she was incapable of caring for Ms. Smith, but she never sought help, prosecutor Lucy Board SC told the court during sentencing submissions. Ms. Smith slept and went to the toilet in a cane chair that was so badly soiled it was starting to decompose. The question has to be asked, what did she do for all of that time at Anne-Marie Smith's house? Ms. Board previously told the court she didn't seek assistance from either her supervisors or medical professionals before it was too late. The neglect of Anne-Marie Smith was not simply the act of not moving her from that cane chair. The neglect of Anne-Marie Smith was absolute. She was not properly fed, she was not properly bathed, she was not properly toileted. Her teeth had not been cleaned. There is very little of her daily care that was attended to at all. When Maione eventually rang an ambulance for Ms. Smith in April 2020, the NDIS client had a 15-centimeter deep bed sore that was gangrenous to the point her hip bone was visible. Ms. Smith from multiple organ failure from the untreated pressure sore. The court heard a treating doctor described it as one of the worst pressure wounds he had seen in his professional career. Police released photos of the inside of Anne-Marie Smith's home. Ms. Smith was also dehydrated and malnourished, and her skin had significantly broken down on her body's left side. Her toenails had not been cut in months, she had no bottom teeth, and was suffering from advanced gum disease. Prosecutor Lucy Board SC previously told the court Maione's gross neglect of Ms. Smith had spanned several months, but she was never going to be able to pinpoint the exact moment when it started. Maione apologized to the court for her crime, which she also acknowledged had caused so much distress in the disability community and people who rely on carers. Her lawyer, Stephen E.Y., said Anne-Marie Smith could be a stubborn and difficult person who often refused Maione's offers of medical help because she did not want to go into a nursing home. Ms. Board said Maione was distancing herself from full responsibility, with her explanations ranging from complete apathy to victim blaming to blaming integrity care. This was the defendant's job. She was paid to take care of Anne-Marie Smith, and she didn't, she previously told the court. This is one of the most serious examples of manslaughter by criminal neglect.